This doctor is on duty but sneaks off to a hotel to drink. She gets a call about an emergency and rushes to the hospital. But it's too late. The newborn of a wealthy family has stopped breathing. If this gets out, her dad's hospital will be shut down. Luckily, another baby was born simultaneously, so she switched them. Unfortunately, a nurse catches on. The doctor promises to send her sick daughter abroad for treatment if she keeps quiet. Stuck between her professional ethics and her daughter's life, she chose her daughter. The emergency room doors swung open, and a nurse delivered the heartbreaking news to a mother named Mie. Upon hearing this, Mie pushed past the door and ran inside. The doctor explained that it was an unforeseen accident, and that the baby's breathing had become unstable, resulting in her passing away. Mie was understandably in denial, as her child had been perfectly healthy yesterday. The doctor told the nurse to keep the mother there while she quickly left the room. As she reached the door, the other mother asked if she could have a moment to see her baby. Seeing this mother, the doctor's face turned pale, completely drained of energy. The wealthy mother helped the doctor back to the break room to rest. She felt a huge relief upon hearing from the doctor that her baby was now perfectly healthy. Meanwhile, Mie was still cradling her deceased child in her arms. The nurse advised her that continuing to do so wouldn't be good for either the mother or the baby. Out in the hallway, the two mothers unknowingly passed each other. Standing in front of the morgue, she honestly couldn't bring herself to let her child go. Mie calmly pieced together the events. Yesterday, the doctor was rushing and bumping into her. Could something have happened then? Has her baby truly passed away? She went to find the nurse to confirm what illness her child had, and whether the other doctor was on duty yesterday. The nurse's hesitation only solidified her suspicions. The doctor reassured herself that Mie was just a poor, powerless mother who couldn't do anything about it. So when Mie confronted her, she firmly denied any wrongdoing. Mie desperately begged the doctor to tell her the truth, saying she didn't want to live if she didn't know. After that, she ran straight outside. The doctor quickly followed and saw her sitting and talking to the man she'd met at the hotel yesterday. Fearing he might reveal something, the doctor had a nurse call him into her office. She then asked him to convince the mother not to do anything rash. He went to comfort Mie, telling her not to be so heartbroken because she still had her husband in the ICU. After consoling Mie, he went to find the doctor and inadvertently overheard a conversation between her and her father. The doctor expressed regret for having switched the babies. The father scolded her for speaking recklessly and risking exposure. This doctor was also very perceptive and noticed his presence outside. Afterward, she followed him to the rooftop to explain everything to him. She had always assumed that he would help her cover everything up, no matter what. But instead, she was in for a surprise. "If I help you conceal this, what will you do for me?" In reality, his goal was simply to marry her. Although the doctor was frustrated, she realized she was truly out of options. It turns out that the husband of the woman who lost her baby had just successfully developed a new cosmetic product. One day, he read the news that another company had already applied for a patent on the same product. He was certain this product was his, so he went to the company to get to the bottom of it. But when he arrived, the contract was already signed. The director, not wanting the situation to become public, ordered security to drag him out, and even had people follow him. He was extremely disappointed. With the encouragement and support of his colleagues, he decided to hand over all related evidence and documents to his friend, who works as a reporter. After learning about this, the company director sent people to eliminate him. The motorcyclist smashed the rearview mirror and then weaved erratically in front of the car. He slammed on the brakes, but the car's brakes failed, resulting in a truck accident. That day, his wife was introducing her husband's new product at the market when she received the devastating news. The doctor said her husband was lucky to be alive, but his brain was severely damaged, and he could very well become a vegetable. The shock caused her to faint and go into premature labor. Coincidentally, another pregnant woman also went into premature labor at the same time, and later, the two babies were switched. When she regained consciousness, her husband told her the whole truth. She went to the police station to file a report, but because it involved a wealthy tycoon, the officer deliberately refused to accept it. She then went to see her reporter friend, but to her surprise, he concealed everything just to win over the doctor. After hearing that the husband had woken up, the director sent someone to pull his breathing tube. The woman couldn't believe her husband had died. Just last night, he had shown signs of waking up and was even talking to her. The woman, having lost both her husband and her child, didn't know what her future would hold. On the street, she encountered the company promoting their new product and went to take a look. It was the product her husband had developed. She couldn't mistake the scent. Mie was furious. She threw the cosmetic bottle to the ground and overturned an entire display table of cosmetics. To avoid trouble, the director did everything he could to get Mie thrown into jail. As soon as Mie entered the prison, she received a very enthusiastic welcome from her fellow inmates. Instead of resisting, she begged them to just let her die. 2 years later, Mi-A was pardoned. She happened to run into the doctor, who delivered her baby in the past in the restroom. Murderer! The doctor argued with Mi-A, asking why she didn't blame herself for giving birth to a weak child. Before she could finish her sentence, she was slapped by Mi-A. The doctor was about to raise her hand to strike back, but thinking of the baby in her womb, she held back. Mi-A chased her outside the restroom door, asking if she would still be so outspoken if her child had died. As the two women argued back and forth, a man carrying a child approached. Mi-A was shocked to discover that the reporter's friend was the doctor's husband. She wanted to retrieve her husband's research documents from him, but he had already handed them over to the company. Looking at their happy family, she couldn't help but feel resentment. Unwilling to give up, she decided to go to the company to talk things over. Suddenly, a ball rolled to her feet, and a cute little boy came up to ask for it back. It had been a long time since Mi-A had shown such a happy smile. Little did she know this child was her biological son. She returned the ball to the child. The two parents quickly rushed over from afar, pulling their child back as if she were about to eat him alive. Murderer! Hearing this word, the directors became furious. He scolded her for speaking so vulgarly, then spat on the ground at her feet and left. Mi-A truly couldn't believe it. She had lived an honest life, yet she only encountered misfortune, while those who did evil were able to live comfortable and happy lives. She went alone to the riverside, but didn't dare to do anything. She imagined her husband telling her to live for both him and their child, and to make them pay the price. I know, I won't keep enduring it anymore. I will uncover the truth behind your and our child's deaths. One day, Mi-A returned home to find that the neighborhood she rented in was on fire. The police called her to the morgue, because they had found her ID on a victim's body. Seeing the tattoo on the victim's arm, Mi-A was certain it was her best friend, Mi-Yoon. But remembering that a wealthy mother overseas had abandoned Mi-Yoon, she decided to use her friend's identity to go abroad and inherit the assets. That day, the doctor was happily choosing clothes for her child when she experienced stomach pains. Mi-A, taking advantage of her distraction, stealthily took the baby girl sitting in the stroller. She took the baby overseas and decided to raise her as a tool for revenge. In the blink of an eye, 20 years had passed. The company's anniversary celebration was still going strong, but no one suspected the terrible things that were about to happen. For example, a glass cosmetic jar fell on the director, and the brakes on both of the hospital director's cars failed. The two of them truly didn't know who was behind this, maybe because they had offended too many people. Then, one day, the director received a package by express delivery. Inside was a piece of paper with the words, "I know everything you did 30 years ago." But the director racked his brain and still couldn't figure out what he had done. Meanwhile, Mi-A changed her name to Carrie and used her best friend's identity to go abroad and inherit the assets. The baby she took with her then was renamed Yoo-jin. This time, the girl came back to the country with her mother also, to exact revenge. At an art auction, the starting bid for a painting was $200 million. The doctor from years ago, as soon as she saw the painting, immediately thought of her daughter, so she spared no expense, bidding a whopping $1 billion to buy it. But to her surprise, someone else bid $2 billion. Everyone was truly curious about who this mysterious person was, and what story the painting held that made it worth so much. The doctor was completely dejected. Everything just seemed to irritate her. The successful bidder for that painting was none other than Mi-A. She had begun her revenge plan. This time, acting as an investor, she confidently brought the painting into the company. The director and the doctor from back then didn't recognize Mi-A. Who would have guessed that the meek and powerless woman from the past had now become a wealthy businesswoman? Seeing the other party's enthusiastic attitude and endless compliments, Mi-A was extremely satisfied. Yoo-jin was now also a well-known cosmetics entrepreneur. That day, a stranger held a knife to her and took her hostage. But this was a plan she had orchestrated. Her plan succeeded when the company's young heir, Hae-jun, quickly appeared to rescue her. Yoo-jin suddenly pushed the kidnapper backward. In a panic, the kidnapper desperately grabbed onto her clothing, causing her to stumble. Seeing this, Hae-jun quickly reached out to catch her, and as a result, the two of them fell. Fortunately, the rescue team arrived in time to save them. Looking at the man right in front of her, a look of gratitude mixed with hatred flashed in Yoo-jin's eyes. In reality, this young master was Mi-A's biological son. The entire company was now in an uproar, because the kidnapper had claimed that the company had stolen his research. At today's meeting, Yoo-jin decided to partner with the company to develop a product and help them regain their reputation. Everything was finally going according to plan. Yoo-jin successfully charmed those wealthy elites. After the successful project, they even invited her and her mother to their home as guests. Three families around a table full of delicacies. Eugene attracted everyone's attention. The young lady in white, Se-ra, asked Eugene if she had dated a lot before. Eugene neither admitted nor denied it. Hae-jun seemed uneasy after hearing this. There must be something shady between them. Hae-jun's mother recounted how he had once been in an accident because of a woman and almost didn't survive. It turns out that the two of them had once had a happy time together, but couldn't be together. And now they had even become enemies. Hae-jun leaned close to her cheek to see if she still had feelings for him. But unfortunately, Se-ra saw them. Eugene followed her out to the courtyard and was unexpectedly slapped. Se-ra is the doctor's biological daughter, and also Eugene's biological sister. But the two don't recognize each other. Eugene was about to slap back when the young heir stopped her in time. Sarah asked, "Did you two just kiss?" Hearing this question, Eugene couldn't help but laugh inwardly. As soon as Eugene left to answer the phone, Hae-jun kept explaining the situation to Se-ra. To avoid any complications, Se-ra quickly announced the news of their marriage to both families. The two had already been engaged for business purposes. Although reluctant, Hae-jun could only obey the arrangements of his elders. But Eugene and her mother would not let them get married. The revenge plan had to be accelerated step by step. After dinner, the families sat together to chat. Se-ra deliberately spilled a glass of water, staining Eugene's clothes. The two had a chance to meet again in private. Se-ra kept talking and talking, but Eugene was unexpectedly slapped by her. "Don't you trust your future husband?" How pathetic. The two met again by chance, when suddenly the elevator stopped. Eugene hurriedly pressed the alarm button, but there was no response. They tried to call for help with their phones, but there was no signal. The elevator was pitch black, and Eugene had difficulty breathing and collapsed. She suffered from claustrophobia. This incident reminded her of when she was little, and her mother left her in a small dark room. That memory rushed back, making her even more terrified. Seeing her weak state, her sister even felt it was a good thing. The problem was fixed, and Se-ra also happened to come up with a plan. She wanted to introduce this player to Eugene. Hae-jun knew her intentions, as well as understanding the other guy's personality, so he was extremely uncomfortable. Finally, Eugene showed up. Seeing the man across from her gallantly pull out a chair and invite her to sit down, Hae-jun was getting heated. He was about to stand up and leave to avoid this awkward atmosphere, but Eugene enthusiastically kept him there. Eugene naturally talked about the first time she met him. The other man also happily continued the conversation with her. Hae-jun was truly jealous beyond measure. Meeting in the restroom, the young heir told his friend not to play with Eugene's feelings, because she was a good girl. "You just take good care of your future wife." His friend's reminder left him speechless and unable to argue. During this time, the marriage made him feel extremely tired. He could only turn to alcohol to forget reality. The wedding was approaching, but the bride wasn't the woman he loved. Just then, his eyes met Eugene's. He was about to go check on her when this young man appeared. This was Eugene's adopted brother. When they moved to a foreign country in the past, in addition to taking Eugene, Mie also adopted a child. Unfortunately, in Eugene's heart, there was only one man. When he learned that the two were sisters, Hae-jun almost accidentally blurted out the story of their love 3 years ago. Eugene didn't want anyone else to know about this private time, so she quickly stood up and left with her younger brother. If the story of the past between the two of them were to be revealed, her mother's revenge plan would be ruined. 3 years ago, on the night the two of them confirmed their relationship, Eugene accidentally learned that the man she loved was her mortal enemy. The image of her mother swallowing a bunch of sleeping pills still haunted her mind. Between love and family, she chose family. She went to the office to find the young heir and directly expressed her feelings. "I didn't expect that after such a long time, I would still like you. You absolutely cannot get married." Yet Hae-jun decisively rejected her. While talking with Se-ra, she unintentionally learned that this girl had an older sister who had been missing for decades. But Eugene didn't know that she was that sister. She only felt that this would be good information to serve her mother's revenge plan. But the mother felt extremely worried and uneasy after hearing this. 30 years ago, she was the one who kidnapped her and turned her into a tool for revenge. She advised her not to waste time on unnecessary things and just focus on the plan as before. Seeing that Eugene was too stressed, her younger brother pulled out a video of the soon-to-be-married couple buying rings for her to watch. Although Hae-jun was the one who rejected her, seeing her cold and distant from him, he still couldn't bear it. Se-ra quickly realized that the reason her soon-to-be husband was distracted was Eugene. So she called that player friend and told him to quickly deal with Eugene. "You can rest assured. I'll meet her at a Seoul restaurant tomorrow night." Se-ra and the young heir were discussing work when the assistant came in and told him that he needed to go to Seoul restaurant to resolve an urgent matter. This was the same restaurant where the player had arranged to meet Yoo-jin. However, in such a short amount of time, she couldn't come up with a reason to keep him from going. It was all Yoo-jin's plot. The two met at the restaurant, but Yoo-jin was standing in the arms of the player. As soon as she left, the player excitedly boasted that he would be with Yoo-jin tonight. Just then, Yoo-jin's adopted brother showed up. The two talked to each other, but the young heir's mind was only focused on the fact that Yoo-jin would be with that man tonight. So he ended the conversation and quickly went to her hotel room to find her. The younger brother quickly informed Yoo-jin on one side and turned on the camera on the other side to check. Yoo-jin pretended to be drunk and slumped on the table. The player took out his phone to film her. The young heir quickly appeared and grabbed the phone. Looking at the photos on his phone, he couldn't contain his anger anymore. He punched him, deleted all the pictures from his phone, and dragged Yoo-jin away. The two stopped the car at a park. Yoo-jin suddenly proposed marriage to Hae-jun. Hae-jun and Se-ra hadn't officially announced their marriage yet, but the company had already received $50 billion in investment. The closer the wedding got, the more suffocated he felt. Finally, he made the decision not to get married. Unable to bear such humiliation, Se-ra quickly called her mother to tell her. After hearing the news, the mother immediately went to find Yoo-jin and slapped her. "Today, you slapped me. I will return it in the future." Hae-jun's mother also went to find Yoo-jin and advised her to voluntarily withdraw and go abroad to study. Just then, he rushed in and blamed his mother for bothering her. The mother didn't expect her son to react so strongly. Se-ra angrily smashed Yoo-jin's nameplate and loudly cursed Yoo-jin for being a shameless homewrecker. Looking at the other party's angry eyes, Yoo-jin couldn't help but laugh inwardly. Homewrecker? Cheating? Extramarital affair? I think those words are only used when people are married. So, is he married yet? The younger sister couldn't think of any words to refute, so she had to leave in frustration. Regardless of everything, the two mothers still wanted to organize a meal to discuss the wedding. With no other choice, Hae-jun had to mention the cancellation of the engagement during the meal. The father couldn't remain calm and raised his hand to hit his son, while Se-ra pretended to faint from shock. Waking up in the middle of the night, Se-ra felt even more angry. So taking advantage of everyone not paying attention, she secretly sneaked out to find Yoo-jin. Yoo-jin, after receiving news from her mother, knew that she would have to regret an uninvited guest arriving tonight. As soon as she opened the door, she rushed in and made a scene at Yoo-jin's house, vowing never to break up. "Then try to keep him, because I will try to steal him away." The younger sister, as if going crazy, slapped her. Then the two wrestled back and forth. She would not let that dog and bitch become a couple. She told her mother about Yoo-jin's weakness. So that day, the doctor's mother called Yoo-jin to her hospital. But when she arrived, she was informed by the attendant that the doctor wasn't there. As soon as Yoo-jin stepped into the elevator, someone secretly tripped the breaker. She was extremely panicked, pressing the call for assistance button. But still nothing happened. She was gradually unable to hold on any longer, and the terrible memories of her childhood rushed back. She tried to call her younger brother on her phone, then fell unconscious and into a coma. The younger brother also informed the young heir and her mother. Hae-jun quickly arrived at the hospital, but the door was locked. He had to use a fire extinguisher to break down the door and rush in. Then, he quickly went to turn the power breaker back on. As soon as the elevator doors opened, the younger brother rushed over and performed CPR on his sister. The rescue team also quickly arrived, and Yoo-jin was put into the ambulance. The young heir was about to follow along, but he quickly stopped him. It turned out that everything was arranged by Se-ra. After it was done, she called her mother to report the situation. The mother not only praised her for doing well, but also told her to quickly resolve the matter of the broken engagement. Se-ra was determined to hold on to the young heir tightly. Indeed, love can completely change a person. It turned her from a gentle person into someone who could do crazy things. Tonight, she wanted to sleep with Hae-jun, but as soon as he felt an arm embrace him, he quickly woke up. To protect Se-ra's honor, Hae-jun sent her home. Seeing Se-ra collapse to the ground in pain, he put his jacket around her. "Let me take you home." On the way home, Se-ra suddenly thought, "How about we go to the other world together?" Thinking this, she grabbed the steering wheel. But fortunately, Hae-jun was able to control it in time, so no accident occurred. Se-ra had plotted revenge against Yoo-jin. That day on the fire escape stairs, Se-ra squeezed Yoo-jin so hard that it was just a little more, and she would have pushed her sister downstairs. Fortunately, Yoo-jin wasn't weak, so she escaped. "Harming me in the elevator wasn't enough, so you're planning to continue here?" Yoo-jin felt that this girl was sick and beyond cure. Se-ra finally chose the most foolish way, which was to take sleeping pills. Fortunately, her family discovered her in time and took her to the hospital. The doctor said that if it had been just a few minutes later, things might have been much worse. Seeing her daughter suffering alone, the mother went to the in-laws' house and made a scene. She slapped Hae-jun. Her eldest daughter was kidnapped when she was little. Since then, her youngest daughter has become everything in her life. She wouldn't allow anyone to insult her. That year, I saved your son. But now your son is killing my daughter. After saying that, she left in anger. Si-ra had woken up, but her eyes were haggard and lifeless. She secretly took a taxi, planning to jump from the rooftop of the company. But coincidentally, Eugene saw her on the fire escape stairs and followed her to the rooftop, where she was lucky enough to save her. But the mother thought that Eugene had harmed her daughter, so she grabbed her hair and dunked her head in water. Two biological mothers and daughters who had been separated for decades had become enemies. I'll give you a choice. Either die here or leave this place immediately. Eugene surrendered. Receiving the answer she wanted, she let her go. Eugene felt extremely wronged. She wished she had family by her side at this moment. Things still didn't stop there. The doctor's mother told Hae-jun that he wasn't the biological son of a wealthy family. Of course, she wouldn't reveal the story from back then about how she went out drinking, and that's why things happened. He, of course, couldn't easily accept this news, even thinking that this crazy woman was talking nonsense. But looking at her smug expression, he couldn't sit still. Returning to his office, he went online to search for the events that occurred at the hospital 30 years ago. But since it happened so long ago, there was no information left. After a drunken night, he decided to take his father's toothbrush to get a DNA test. Seeing her son's haggard face, the mother prepared a table of food for him, all the dishes he liked. His mother cared for him so much, he really couldn't accept it if the two of them weren't blood related. He went to the hospital to do a DNA test, and was accidentally seen by Eugene's younger brother. Then, he immediately informed his mother. Finally, the test results came out. After learning that he wasn't the biological son of his parents, Hae-jun couldn't hold back his tears. He wanted to ask his mother for clarification, but he hesitated, fearing that he would make her sad. Hae-jun met Eugene at a bar, and he pretended to ask her if he wasn't a rich heir anymore, but an adopted child. Would she still love him? He didn't expect that someone like Hae-jun would only think about money. Did he want to be with her tonight? And she did. Waking up in the morning, Hae-jun didn't see Eugene anywhere. It turned out that she had left during the night. Then, two police officers appeared and took him to the detention center. Hae-jun didn't understand what was happening, and why Eugene would treat him like this, when the two of them were so intimate yesterday. Receiving the phone call, the mother anxiously worried about her son, while the father kept scolding his son for being useless. Hae-jun, with the bail from his family, finally returned home. Meanwhile, Eugene, who was inherently kind, was now extremely tormented by her actions. She constantly abused herself. In an attempt to find a way out, she was luckily discovered by her family in time. Si-ra, after hearing the news, felt that her opportunity had come, so she tried to persuade her mother to let her marry Hae-jun. Unable to remain calm, Si-ra yelled, "Then go find the daughter you loved who went missing." And she immediately got slapped. The eldest daughter, who had gone missing, still has a deep wound in her heart. However, she still shouldn't treat her youngest daughter like that. Regardless of her mother's explanations, Si-ra refused to listen. She was determined to marry Hae-jun. Hae-jun's news had a significant impact on the company. The leaders had prepared for Hae-jun to resign, but Mi-ae didn't agree. She didn't want everything to end so simply. Her plan hadn't been completed yet. That day, while walking on the street, he ran into the girl who had framed him and put him in jail. He asked her why she treated him like that, to get revenge. Just then, a few people walked by. Eugene sat down and started shouting. Hae-jun didn't understand what was wrong with her. Suddenly, Eugene's adopted brother appeared, pushed him away, and told him never to come near her again, or he would have to go to jail a second time. Mi-ae went to visit the nurse from back then. Her mental state wasn't very stable now. She kept talking nonsense and clasped her hands together, begging her to forgive her. Mi-ae recalled the mysterious points from 30 years ago, and then slowly introduced herself. The nurse finally reacted, but she only cried and couldn't open her mouth to speak. The doctor from back then, after receiving news that the nurse's condition had improved, hurriedly ran to find her. The empty hospital room made her even more frightened. She went outside and met Mi-ae, who was wiping away the nurse's tears. What a coincidence. Returning to the hospital room, the doctor angrily asked the nurse if she remembered who that woman was. You wouldn't say, even if you died, that Mi-ae was the mother whose baby was switched back then. Unable to get the nurse to open her mouth, she called her husband to investigate. The next day, Mi-ae invited Hae-jun's mother to the hospital to visit the nurse. As soon as she saw the two of them, she couldn't remain calm and became agitated again. She kept apologizing to Hae-jun's mother. So, who caused that incident? The nurse slowly raised her hand towards the picture behind the wall. Through investigation, Se-ra's father learned Mi-ae's true identity. 30 years ago, people thought that after losing her husband and child, she wouldn't care about anything anymore. But they didn't expect her to have now become a major shareholder in the group. If everything were exposed, then everything would be lost. The nurse didn't want to continue hiding the truth anymore. At night, taking advantage of the nurses not being there, she secretly sneaked out. The nurse, after discovering that she had disappeared, immediately reported the news to the doctor. Mi-ae also received the news and quickly set off. Luckily, they arrived first and were able to take her away before the doctor arrived. When the doctor and her husband arrived, they only saw the scarf she dropped. The doctor found Mi-ae's house, and to her surprise, the painting of the two mothers and daughters that she wouldn't have gotten even if she had paid billions of dollars for was here. Mi-ae neither admitted nor denied that she was Mi-ae, which made her extremely frightened. Wasn't she supposed to have died in a fire? Still unable to believe the truth, she secretly went into the bathroom to take a hair sample from Mi-ae to do a DNA test with Hae-jun. If the two were mother and son, then this woman was Mi-ae. Finally, the DNA results came back. The two were truly blood-related. Just then, Mi-ae rang the doorbell at her house. Seeing Mi-ae, she was already frightened. Mi-ae arrived at the company and found a mysterious gift box in front of the door. A pot of plants was falling on her head, but luckily, Hae-jun's mother appeared in time and pulled her away. Returning to her room, Mi-ae saw words written on the wall in a color as red as blood. It was all arranged by Hae-jun's father. 30 years ago, he assassinated Mi-ae's husband, and now he was using every means to harm her. But he didn't know that the person who was injured was his wife and no one else. The doctor suddenly thought that if Mi-ae's child hadn't died back then, would her daughter have gone missing? But she didn't expect that her daughter had now been raised to become a tool for revenge against her biological mother. She kept thinking about her missing daughter, even watching her daughter's videos in the middle of the night, and blaming herself. Did you kidnap my daughter? This woman was crazy. Mi-ae didn't bother with her anymore. She knelt, crying and begging the other person to forgive her. Se-ra, standing outside after hearing the conversation of the two people, came up with an idea. She went to find Mi-ae and begged her that if her older sister was still alive, she would never let her appear. Like mother, like daughter, they were both crazy. While the mother was extremely heartbroken because her daughter was missing, the younger sister was always trying to hide her sister's appearance. At his wit's end, the husband had to come crying and begging Mi-ae to spare him and his wife for the sake of their past relationship. Looking at Mi-ae's cold and indifferent attitude, he almost blurted out the truth that her son was still alive. Mi-ae, of course, didn't admit that she had kidnapped their eldest daughter. Mi-ae returned home and suggested that her daughter go abroad. Yoo-jin, of course, didn't want to. She insisted on completing this revenge plan with her mother. The next day, Mi-ae went to find the director who had killed her husband and warned him that everything would end next month. Although the director was angry, he didn't know how to respond. Then, she went to see the doctor and her husband and told them that this house now belonged to her, so they should quickly pack up and move out. Mi-ae's wishes had been successfully fulfilled quite a bit. That day, the doctor received a phone call reporting that her daughter had been found. The two quickly went to the location they were told, looking at the chubby young girl in front of them, who was casually eating and drinking with men. The mother didn't believe this was her daughter, but the information the girl told them completely matched their daughter. This girl was someone Mi-ae hired to impersonate the doctor's biological daughter, Yoo-jin. To be sure, the two wanted to do a DNA test. Arriving at the testing room, the chubby girl took the hair sample of Yoo-jin, which had been pre-wrapped in a plastic bag, and gave it to her. The doctor and her husband took her home. The girl couldn't help but be surprised by the wealthy mansion. She kept picking up the bottles of wine to look at, took pictures of the pile of designer bags, and even slept on Se-ra's bed. The two were extremely helpless. But if this was their daughter, what could they do? Finally, the DNA test results came in. The results matched 99.99%. The two were overjoyed, thinking that they had met their daughter after 30 years of separation. At that time, the director's illegitimate son suddenly appeared. It turned out that all this time, he had been secretly providing for his mistress and raising an illegitimate child outside. Now, the mistress brought the child to the front of his house to be recognized. The wife came home and saw a little boy outside the gate. After hearing her husband say that it was the child of a friend, she happily let him into the house. From then on, the child lived with them. The mother carefully cared for him in every detail. What would her reaction be if she found out he was her husband's illegitimate child? After learning about it, Mi-ae warned him to handle it properly. Otherwise, he should resign. because the matter of an illegitimate child could easily affect the group. So, on the day of the shareholders' meeting, Mi-A was unexpectedly kidnapped by the director's men. It was almost time for the meeting, but her mother hadn't shown up. Yu-jin anxiously asked the assistant, who told her that her mother had been kidnapped. With no other choice, she decided to go to Hae-jun's house and bring the child to the shareholders' meeting. Just as she arrived at the company gate, she met her mother. As soon as the meeting room door opened, the child quickly ran to the director and shouted, "Dad," which surprised everyone. The wife even fainted from shock. Arriving home, no matter what her husband explained, she didn't want to listen. She only wanted him to disappear immediately. She didn't expect to be treated like that. Hae-jun stood watching his mother from afar, not knowing how to comfort her, so focused on following his mother that he didn't pay attention to his surroundings. Hae-jun was hit by a car. The mother quickly ran over. "Mom, if there's a next life, I want to be your biological son." The mother didn't understand what her son was saying, only rushing to take him to the emergency room. The doctor announced that Hae-jun needed a kidney transplant, but the hospital didn't have one available. The mother agreed to donate hers, but what she didn't expect was that her and Hae-jun's indicators didn't match at all. Were the two of them mother and son? Receiving the DNA test results, she didn't want to believe it. Too tragic. The husband she loved had lied to her. And now the child she had painstakingly raised for 30 years turned out not to be blood-related. She went to confide in her close friend, who was also the doctor who delivered her baby back then, to ask her to find the child who was born on that same day, thinking that perhaps her child had been switched. The doctor was extremely worried, wondering how this friend would go crazy if everything were exposed now. Mi-A told her that the doctor kept making things difficult for this nurse because she was holding a secret. After thinking for a bit, she suspected that her child and Mi-A's child had been switched. And if that were the case, then her biological son was no longer alive. No, at all costs, she had to keep Hae-jun by her side. Then she secretly went to do a DNA test between Hae-jun and Mi-A. Just as she guessed, the two were mother and son. Then she went to see the nurse, hoping she would tell her everything. It turned out that the person who killed her child was her close friend. Extremely angry, at this moment, she only wanted that doctor to immediately disappear from the world. The doctor arrogantly asked if she wanted to return the child to Mi-A now, or if she wanted to keep him by her side. It turned out that the entire argument from just now had been recorded by her, but unfortunately, her husband appeared at the right time. With no other choice, she had to tell him the whole truth. After hearing it, the husband thought that if Hae-jun didn't wake up, it would be a good opportunity for his illegitimate son. His wish was about to come true. Si-ra, for some reason, pulled out Hae-jun's breathing tube. Seeing that he wasn't breathing anymore, and coincidentally hearing someone opening the door, she quickly hid in the closet. Mi-A came to visit Hae-jun, and was about to pick up the breathing tube to put it back on Hae-jun when Yu-jin walked in. She misunderstood that her mother, because of personal grudges, wanted to become a murderer, while Si-ra constantly blamed her mother for making everyone turn out like this. That fake older sister kept flattering her to get her to buy her designer goods. Suddenly, one day, some people came out of nowhere and demanded that they pack up and leave the house. This girl was extremely worried. She called Mi-A's assistant and said that if they became beggars, she would run away immediately. A few days later, this girl met the assistant to extort money, and she even revealed that she had overheard that Hae-jun wasn't the biological child of that wealthy family. Mi-A, sitting there, heard everything. Could Hae-jun be her son? Taking advantage of no one visiting him, she secretly went in and took a strand of Hae-jun's hair to do a DNA test. Just as she stepped out the door, Mi-A met the doctor. "Even if I can't do anything to you, heaven will punish you." Finally, the DNA test results came in. Hae-jun was her son. What to do now? That madam would not give up Hae-jun. That day, taking advantage of no one being around, Hae-jun was taken away by strangers on his hospital bed. The mother came to visit her son and found the room empty. She thought that Mi-A must have known the truth and secretly took her son away. So she ran to Mi-A's house and made a scene. But unexpectedly, Mi-A was at church at this time. Returning home, Mi-A was shocked to see Hae-jun's adoptive parents here. She didn't understand why the two of them thought she had taken Hae-jun away. The mother, crying miserably, revealed the truth. Mi-A was Hae-jun's biological mother. Just then, the mother received a ransom call from the doctor. She couldn't believe that her close sister had kidnapped her son. Having lost everything, the doctor now had nothing to fear. She told the mother the whole truth about Mi-A's husband's death. The madam truly couldn't believe that the husband she had been sleeping next to for so many years was a murderer. She wondered how Hae-jun would react when he found out that his adoptive father had harmed his biological father. Then, the mother went to meet Mi-A. The two agreed that they had to put Hae-jun's safety first. Returning home, the mother immediately sold her shares and several buildings. Mie also quickly prepared all the money she had. But when the doctor arrived at the exchange location, she didn't see either of them. She called, but they didn't answer the phone. Si-ra was sent by her mother to watch Hae-jun. Whether he woke up or not, he still wouldn't choose her. So she might as well act a little sooner. Thinking this, she once again pulled out his breathing tube. Unexpectedly, Hae-jun woke up at just the right time. Just as the doctor's mother ran in and opened the door, she put the breathing tube back on Hae-jun and hugged her daughter, comforting her. Hae-jun's adoptive mother had prepared enough money and brought it to the doctor. Now, they were just waiting for Mie. At that time, Se-ra was preparing to go outside when Yoo-jin unexpectedly rang her doorbell. Yoo-jin kept banging on the door, shouting Hae-jun's name. Hearing the desperate call, Hae-jun finally groggily woke up. At that moment, the real estate service staff also arrived to take her away, because the house's lease had expired. Si-ra was also taken to the police station. The police didn't understand why she would do that to her fiancé. Si-ra's parents quickly came to bail out their daughter. The husband even presented his business card, proving that he was a member of Congress. But the police officer didn't budge. The doctor called Hae-jun's mother, warning her to remember that her husband was the murderer. Hae-jun's mother was determined to protect her husband. She went to find Mie, begging for forgiveness. Mie didn't understand why she wouldn't let the law punish the evil people. All the evidence was now in the hands of that doctor. If she revealed it, how heartbroken would Hae-jun be? Would he forgive the person who raised him for 30 years? Or would he choose to avenge his biological father? In any case, Mie had to get the evidence from the doctor. She threw a bag of money at the doctor and demanded that she hand over the evidence that Hae-jun's adoptive father harmed her husband. You evil hag. Don't even think about knowing who your biological daughter is in this lifetime. This is karma. At that time, Hae-jun's adoptive mother also didn't want to continue living with a murderer anymore. She proposed a divorce. The two were arguing loudly in the room when Hae-jun accidentally overheard. Hae-jun's biological mother is still alive. Don't selfishly keep him by your side. Let him go back to his mother. So, his biological mother was still alive. Hae-jun was very surprised. He then ordered his secretary to go to the hospital to find out about all the women who gave birth on that day. Finally, Hae-jun discovered that Mie was his biological mother. Yoo-jin and Hae-jun wanted to get married, but if she knew now that Hae-jun was Mie's biological son, then the two of them definitely couldn't continue. While saying goodbye after a meal, Hae-jun almost got hit by a motorcycle again. Although both mothers reached out to pull him back, blood is truly thicker than water. Hae-jun hugged Mie. Hae-jun couldn't take it anymore, and he immediately ran to acknowledge his mother. You're my biological mother, right? There are indeed many things that we easily forget, but the blood bond between a mother and her child is still like an ember smoldering in our hearts. Hae-jun also learned the truth about his biological father's death. He found it very difficult and didn't know how to face the truth. Meanwhile, Yoo-jin was still wondering why Hae-jun wouldn't answer his phone no matter how many times she called. Suddenly, the fake daughter of the doctor called and said she would reveal a secret about Hae-jun if Yoo-jin gave her some money. Hearing Hae-jun's name, Yoo-jin immediately agreed. So the two of them arranged to meet at a coffee shop. Yoo-jin was shocked after hearing that Hae-jun wasn't the biological son of that wealthy family. Just then, the doctor's mother showed up. It turned out that this girl saw that their family was about to go bankrupt. So she wrote a farewell letter, quickly packed her bags, and ran away. The two read the letter and were very worried. Not wanting to continue deceiving each other, this girl confessed that she wasn't their biological daughter. This was Mie's plot. The mother angrily went to find Mie to ask her about it, and saw Mie and Hae-jun's adoptive mother discussing the wedding. Siblings can get married? Returning home, she discussed it with her husband. Mie hadn't married in 30 years, and Yoo-jin happened to be the same age as her missing daughter. Could there be something hidden? Thinking this, she went to Yoo-jin's office and rummaged through the drawers, taking her toothbrush and a half-finished cup of water to do a DNA test. However, the results showed that Yoo-jin wasn't the couple's biological daughter, but she had anticipated everything, so she prepared 2 test samples. Mie switched one sample, but she still had another sample. Finally, she had both sets of test results in her hands. Unable to endure it anymore, she went to Mie's house and searched for Yoo-jin in every room. She slapped Mie and demanded, "Where is my daughter?" Mie affirmed that Yoo-jin was her daughter. Whoever raised her is the mother, and the person who dunked her daughter's head in water wasn't qualified. When she heard the doctor threaten to reveal the whole truth, Mie angrily slapped her. She knelt, begging the doctor not to harm Yoo-jin anymore. The doctor, of course, didn't agree. She would not let her daughter marry the enemy's son. Mie called the doctor's husband and told him to persuade his wife not to do anything foolish that would affect the children. Si-ra happened to be standing outside the door and overheard the news that Hae-jun and Eugene were about to get married. She was extremely surprised. So Hae-jun was still holding the wedding as planned, but the bride wasn't her, it was another girl. Si-ra met with Eugene and insulted her for being shameless, saying she would pay the price later, then threw the whole cup of water in Eugene's face. The two mothers quickly appeared. Mi-ae immediately took Eugene away from this place. The doctor was extremely distressed. On one side was her younger daughter, heartbroken in love, and on the other side was her pitiful older daughter, who had been missing for many years. Mi-ae and the doctor arranged to meet and exchange conditions with each other. Mi-ae said that if the doctor didn't do anything to affect Eugene's wedding, then as soon as the wedding ended, she would transfer all of her assets to Eugene and disappear forever. The two even carefully signed an agreement. The doctor told her husband about this, and her husband decided to agree to Mi-ae's request and planned to let their younger daughter go abroad to study. This way, they could both avoid sisterly infighting and get an enormous amount of assets from Mi-ae. Truly, there was only benefit and no harm. But unfortunately, Si-ra quickly discovered that Eugene was her older sister. On the day she was packing her things to go abroad to study, she accidentally found the DNA test results of Eugene and her mother. She couldn't believe that the person who stole her fiancé was her sister. Not only that, but she also suspected that her parents were sending her abroad to study to welcome her sister home. The more Si-ra thought about it, the more she hated Eugene. So she burned all the pictures and belongings from Eugene's childhood, and then still pretended to go abroad to study. Afterward, Si-ra used a large sum of money to buy information from this man. He further revealed that Hae-jun was Mi-ae's biological son, so her sister was going to marry the son of the person her mother hated. This good news had to be quickly told to Eugene. She arranged to meet Eugene at a coffee shop, and then gave Eugene the agreement between the two mothers. Eugene didn't expect that she was just a tool for her mother's revenge. No wonder she had been seeing the doctor lately, showing up around her, and she had also strongly opposed her marriage. I can't believe you're my older sister. It is some kind of messed up fate. Eugene and Hae-jun's wedding was still going to happen as planned, but the person walking down the aisle wouldn't be her. It would be her younger sister, Si-ra. Hae-jun, after learning the truth, quickly ran to find her, but she was nowhere to be found. As for Si-ra, being left at the altar was utterly humiliating, so she just took off. Eugene walked down the street, feeling completely hopeless. She had intended to repay her adoptive mother's 30 years of raising her by making her biological mother receive the proper punishment. Returning home, she still couldn't accept the fact that her mother had turned her into a tool for revenge. The mother admitted all of her mistakes and was willing to accept punishment from her. She told her that she could blame her but never to blame herself. Eugene wouldn't listen. She thought it was all her plot. Then she returned to her room, packed her belongings, and prepared to leave this place. The mother begged her not to go, but Eugene couldn't remain calm anymore. "Don't touch me." Mi-ae still painfully tried to hold on, begging her daughter to give her one more chance. While the two were struggling with each other in the parking garage, the doctor's mother suddenly appeared. After 30 years of separation, Eugene and her mother were moved to recognize each other. Then the mother took her home. Seeing Eugene's appearance, Si-ra was extremely uncomfortable. She constantly tried to make things difficult for her sister. "Choose, Mom and Dad, either me or Eugene." Seeing a table full of food that her mother made for her sister, Si-ra angrily threw it all on the ground. She coldly pushed Eugene to the ground and spoke nothing but cruel words. Just then, Hae-jun happened to open the door and walk in, pulling her away. Having gone through so many hardships, their love seemed to have finally borne fruit. So, before even holding the wedding ceremony, they had registered their marriage. Therefore, when they met this time, Eugene proposed a divorce to him, because she didn't want to marry the enemy's son. Seeing Mi-ae, Eugene unexpectedly, with a blank face, said a very bitter sentence to her adoptive mother. "I'm already gone." Afterward, the doctor went to find Mi-ae and told her to hand over the assets as agreed. But Mi-ae didn't agree because Eugene's wedding hadn't been fully completed. Hae-jun's adoptive mother also came to her and told Mi-ae to think about the children and leave Seoul. Mi-ae was extremely distressed. She decided to do one last thing for her children by going alone to the open sea. Just then, Eugene appeared and pulled her back. "You've been deceiving me for 30 years, so you have to live out the rest of your life to receive punishment." Although she hated her mother so much, Eugene didn't want her to disappear this way. After saying that, Eugene turned and left. But after taking just 2 steps, she fainted. At the hospital, the doctor kept blaming Mi-ae for only knowing how to harm her child. Fortunately, Mi-A now had a son standing up to protect her. The doctor announced that the family shouldn't agitate the patient. Seeing her child seriously ill, the mother was extremely heartbroken. Hae-jun also took care of Yoo-jin very carefully. He even brought homemade food for Yoo-jin, but as soon as Yoo-jin ate it, she realized it was cooked by Mi-A. So she put it down. Thinking about how the mother who had cared for her for 30 years was a bad person, Yoo-jin's heart ached so much that she couldn't breathe. Very quickly, Yoo-jin was discharged from the hospital. As soon as she saw her, the younger sister immediately said bitter words. The younger sister thought that Yoo-jin had not only stolen her love, but was now returning to steal her parents too. The father only knew to pull his youngest daughter back into her room. That night, the doctor and her husband were talking together in the kitchen. One person couldn't admit their mistakes from years ago, while the other person didn't want to give up the pile of assets they had. Yoo-jin passed by and accidentally overheard. If the two of them had admitted their mistakes back then she wouldn't have been kidnapped. Si-ra wouldn't have tormented herself because of love, and she wouldn't have tried to avenge her parents and younger sister. Her parents weren't happy, but Si-ra was very interested in this dramatic story. Yoo-jin apologized to her sister for everything, then returned to her room and called her close younger brother to say goodbye. After preparing everything, the next morning, she arranged to go out with Hae-jun. Sitting in the car, Yoo-jin suddenly asked Hae-jun that because he was her husband, if she went anywhere, he would follow, right? Hae-jun happily said that even if he had to go to hell with her, he would accept it. The two drove to a riverbank to have a date. Their relationship was developing very well. She unexpectedly hugged him and said she was sorry. Just then, Mi-yeon arrived, intending to say goodbye to her two children before leaving, and saw the two of them hugging each other and jumping into the sea. On the same day, she had lost two children right before her eyes. The police quickly arrived at the scene to work. Everyone was blaming her, while she was the one who was the most heartbroken here. The two were quickly taken to the hospital. Hae-jun luckily woke up first, while Yoo-jin was still in a deep coma. Mi-yeon had intended to leave Seoul, but she unexpectedly caused more pain for her children. Meanwhile, Hae-jun's adoptive mother, after learning that Yoo-jin had jumped into the sea and even dragged her son along, was very dissatisfied. Although he wasn't her biological son, she loved him with all the love she had. Now, it seems like Mi-yeon has a tough choice to make between her blood relative and her adopted daughter. So, let her decide for Mi-yeon. Taking advantage of everyone being out, she sneaks into Yoo-jin's hospital room. She believes Yoo-jin has already tormented his son enough, and if she can't go to the other side on her own, she'll give her a helping hand. Thinking this, she reaches out with both hands towards Yoo-jin's neck, but ultimately lacks the courage to go through with it. Just as she leaves, Yoo-jin wakes up. The doctor informs the family that Yoo-jin has hepatitis, and the only solution is a liver transplant. Unfortunately, the mother's liver is not a match, and the father's liver is unusable due to excessive alcohol consumption. The only remaining option is Se-ra, Yoo-jin's younger sister. But Se-ra refuses. How could she sacrifice herself for someone who took away her parents and the man she loved? I don't care. Whether she lives or dies has nothing to do with me. So, raising a child isn't about helping them become successful, but about helping them from good values. But Yoo-jin didn't want to have surgery. She didn't want to live anymore. The mother encouraged her not to worry and lied, saying that her liver was a match for her. That day, Hae-jun's adoptive mother came to see Yoo-jin. She blamed her for dragging her son into the sea, and then begged her to let go of her son. A woman who was usually gentle and virtuous could also lose her temper because of her child. Yoo-jin not only suffered physical pain, but also severe mental trauma. That day, Yoo-jin, tired and lifeless, went down to the parking garage. As soon as she approached her mother, she fainted. She took her to the hospital and was informed by the doctor that she needed surgery urgently. Otherwise, she couldn't live for more than a month. Although the doctor said that Hae-jun's liver was a match for Yoo-jin to transplant, his adoptive mother strongly opposed it. Even though the doctor had to kneel and beg, she couldn't change her decision. Just then, she received news that there was a matching liver, and she immediately changed her attitude toward Hae-jun's mother. It turned out that it was Mi-a's liver. Mi-a knew that if Yoo-jin knew that she was the one who had donated to her, she definitely wouldn't agree. So she told everyone to keep this a secret. That night, Yoo-jin was in unbearable pain. She was immediately taken to the emergency room. Hae-jun ran along the hospital corridor after Yoo-jin, constantly encouraging her, but not knowing that his biological mother was also going into surgery. Mi-a silently prayed, "Oh God, please bless my daughter's surgery to be successful. I have no regrets about living until now." Yoo-jin gradually recovered. The doctor still acted as if nothing was different, calmly peeling a tangerine for her daughter. The younger sister, Se-ra, suddenly came to visit her sister, carrying a lunchbox. She saw the mother and daughter's affectionate scene and smirked. Si-ra chased after Yoo-jin in the hospital hallway and told her that if she was better, she should quickly pack up and leave this place and return Hae-jun to her. It turned out that she had only come here today because of arrangements made by her mother. As long as Si-ra didn't reveal that Mi-ae had donated to Yoo-jin, she could do anything for her, including facilitating her marriage with Hae-jun. Yoo-jin returned to her hospital room and saw Hae-jun's mother there. She handed Yoo-jin a divorce paper and asked her to sign it. She didn't want her to continue endangering her son. Very quickly, Yoo-jin was able to be discharged from the hospital. Everyone at home even threw a party to welcome her. While packing her belongings, Yoo-jin pulled out the divorce papers. The doctor's mother thought she would give up, but unexpectedly, Yoo-jin was determined to live with Hae-jun until they were old and gray. Well then, she would indulge her. As for Si-ra, she would find a way to persuade her. Unfortunately, Si-ra passed by and overheard everything. Hae-jun had to be hers and no one else's. She angrily opened the door and blurted out the whole truth. "You've been lied to by everyone. The person who donated the liver to you was Mi-ae." Yoo-jin couldn't even believe her ears. The person who kidnapped her had sacrificed her body to save her life. She immediately ran to the hospital to find Mi-ae. "You're not even my mother. So what are you planning? Why did you let your liver go into my body?" Although she was saying malicious words, deep down, Yoo-jin was very worried about her. Just then, Hae-jun and Mi-ae's adopted son appeared, quickly calming the two mothers down. Mi-ae decided to leave Seoul, but her health was facing a major problem. She had a high fever and lay trembling on the hospital bed. Si-ra peeked through the doorway, hoping that she would recover quickly. Yoo-jin had just returned home when her parents were already standing and waiting outside the door to apologize to her. If the two of them hadn't covered up the switching of the two newborns back then she wouldn't have been kidnapped by Mi-ae. But unexpectedly, Mi-ae was informed by the doctor that her body was recovering extremely slowly. If things went wrong, she wouldn't be able to live for more than a year. Mi-ae asked the doctor not to tell anyone else this. She wandered alone on the street, unable to stand, and had to lean against a nearby tree. That day, Yoo-jin came to visit her, but saw that the hospital room was empty. She was given a set of documents by her younger brother. Inside was the agreement that her biological mother signed with Mi-ae. She didn't expect that her biological mother would use her to bargain before her wedding. She had signed an agreement with Mi-ae that she wouldn't reveal the truth about Yoo-jin's identity in exchange for Mi-ae's assets. And this agreement was her intention. The mother thought she was doing the right thing. But unexpectedly, she had disappointed Yoo-jin so much. Their family had reunited for less than a week, and already had to separate again. Yoo-jin dragged her suitcase out the door and met Si-ra. Si-ra was extremely pleased, telling her that since she was leaving, she should never come back. That day, Yoo-jin received a phone call from the doctor, telling her that her adoptive mother, Mi-ae, wouldn't live for more than a year. The two were both extremely shocked. Hae-jun thought that perhaps his mother had gone to church, but when the two arrived at the church, they didn't see her. Asking the monks, they also said that she hadn't come. In reality, Mi-ae had quickly escaped out the back door. She wanted to silently disappear from her children's lives. At the crossroads, she saw Yoo-jin on the opposite side of the street waving to her. But when the car passed, she didn't see Yoo-jin's shadow anywhere. It turned out that it was all just her imagination. She despaired and fainted in the middle of the road. After waking up in the hospital, Yoo-jin told her that if she wanted to live, she should go get treatment. But she refused. The only thing she needed right now was forgiveness from her. Yoo-jin had nowhere else to go. She couldn't go to the hospital every day, so she had to return to Hae-jun's house. She knelt and begged Hae-jun's mother to forgive her. The mother hadn't calmed down yet. She vowed that she would never forgive her in her lifetime. Unexpectedly, the little boy appeared and softened the atmosphere a bit. With no other choice, she had to accept staying at her house. The next day, the doctor arranged to meet Hae-jun's mother at a coffee shop. The doctor expressed her desire to mend their relationship and hoped that she wouldn't make things difficult for Yoo-jin anymore. Hae-jun's mother said that she would forgive Yoo-jin if Yoo-jin severed her mother-daughter relationship with the doctor. How could the doctor agree to this unreasonable request? The doctor's husband advised her to apologize to Mi-ae, but she resolutely refused. "If you want to go, go alone. Don't dream that I'm going to apologize to her." The husband really couldn't say anything anymore. He had to go alone to kneel and apologize to Mi-ae. He knew that her husband's ideas had been stolen, but he didn't expose it. He also knew about his wife switching the two babies but covered it up. And now he had to pay the price. During this time, Mi-ae's condition became more and more serious. She went to Hae-jun's house and knelt, begging Hae-jun's mother not to make things difficult for her daughter. Let all the blame be put on her. Yoo-jin arrived just at that moment. Seeing her adoptive mother kneeling, she also quickly knelt. She promised her mother-in-law that she would sever her mother-daughter relationship with the doctor, and that she would never meet her again from now on. Finally, the two Yoo-jins were able to embrace. Mie only hoped that her daughter could live well. That would be enough for her. The doctor's husband proposed a divorce. He had endured her long enough. Si-ra, of course, didn't agree. She said that if the two divorced, she would immediately disappear. She had to turn to her eldest daughter and ask her to come home and comfort her sister. But Yoo-jin coldly told her not to act like they knew each other from now on. Her daughter was no longer in this world. She couldn't believe that her daughter would sever her relationship with her because of a man. Utterly despairing, she could only turn to alcohol. Go, if you want to go, then go. Hearing her mother say that, Si-ra immediately went back to her room to pack her things, then dragged her suitcase and left. But as soon as she stepped out the door, a car suddenly slammed on its brakes. An accident had happened. Turning around, Si-ra saw her mother lying in a large pool of blood in the middle of the road. She quickly took her mother to the hospital. Although the surgery was very successful, her brain was severely damaged. Si-ra deeply regretted her actions. If she hadn't stormed out, her mother wouldn't have ended up like this. The doctor woke up, but she didn't have any memories of her daughter, who had been missing for 30 years. She only cherished her youngest daughter. On the day of her discharge, as soon as she saw Mie, she kept crying and begging Mie to forgive her. Mie had spent 30 years waiting for an apology from her, but at this moment, her heart was extremely confused. Mie's time was also running out. Hae-jun and Yoo-jin were hurriedly preparing for the wedding. That day, she gave her daughter some of her dowry, but unfortunately, she had a severe attack. She rushed back to her room to take medicine, but before she could open the bottle, she fainted. The assistant quickly gave her the medicine. Yoo-jin blamed herself for being inconsiderate of her mother. The doctor said that if the medicine was no longer effective, the family should prepare themselves. From that day on, Yoo-jin visited her mother every day. She wanted to prolong the time she had with her mother. As for the doctors, after the accident, she had completely forgotten about Yoo-jin. She devoted all her love to her youngest daughter, Si-ra. That day, she went to visit Hae-jun's house to discuss Si-ra's wedding. But what caught her eye was a wedding photo of Hae-jun and Yoo-jin. Seeing Yoo-jin, for some reason, her eyes blurred, and she felt a sharp pain in her heart. Returning home, Si-ra told her not to go to Hae-jun's house anymore. She secretly thanked her daughter for giving her a chance to make amends, and helping her easily break off all ties with Yoo-jin. Later, Si-ra and Yoo-jin's adopted brother became a couple. All four of them started a happy life again. Yoo-jin and Hae-jun also held their wedding ceremony. Mie's condition worsened day by day, and she eventually passed away. If Mie had another chance, I think she shouldn't have kidnapped Yoo-jin. Life is like a dangerous game. No one knows what the future holds. As long as you live for the present and are responsible in the present, the future will not let you down. The drama ends here. Thank you for watching the entire video. If you have any recommendations for dramas you'd like me to cover next, please leave a comment down below. Goodbye and see you next time.